Let's begin by just settling into our breath for a few minutes. Just remembering that continuity is helpful, meaning carrying one's attention through the whole cycle of the breath, all the way through the inhale, beginning to end. Carrying that attention across the turning point to the exhale. If we're going to lose our concentration, it often happens on the transition, even a tiny transition, like the transition between inhale and exhale, can be easily the moment where the mind loses its grip and goes off into following a chain of thought. So just making that little extra relaxed, balanced effort to carry the attention over the gap to the exhale, all the way through the exhale, beginning, middle, end. All the way over the transition to the inhale. Even just one or two full cycles of breath unbroken can begin to bring us into that still and absorbed state. That pleasant feeling of absorption and stillness. And now beginning to let in other present moment elements, like sounds, bodily sensations. It's probably simplest to keep vision out of the picture at this moment. So if your eyes are open and you can forget your visual field, that's fine. But if not, you might want to close them. I like to leave them a little open, partly closed, partly open. lets in some light, but not enough of form to be distracting. There's a way that I practice, which is the foreground is the breath, other elements of the present moment. But I'm kind of looking beyond that at the same time to notice, to be aware of thoughts as they arise. Not necessarily doing anything with them, but just keeping an eye on them so that I know not to grasp and get caught in a whole chain of thinking. But paying attention behind the direct experience to notice the thoughts that may arise and want to grab us. Just relaxing into that positive feeling of stillness and absorption. The way it is with me is I just know that will be broken if I grasp onto the next thought arising. So I use that feeling of settledness in the absorption and stillness, that positive feeling, as encouragement to not grab onto the next thought. Notice how nourishing it can feel to just rest in that stillness. So noticing that the breath appears in our awareness. So So there's a larger field that receives the sensation of breath. And bodily sensations appear in a field that we call the body. Thoughts pass through the field we call the mind. And sound comes and goes against silence. If we don't look closely, these can seem like they're different spheres, different fields. But actually, they're all the same field. They're all just awareness. All of these things appear in the space of awareness. So just letting ourselves sink into and notice that awareness as well as the objects of awareness, the phenomena, the things that appear in awareness. We're also just noticing awareness itself. And letting ourselves relax into that. Just letting the objects of awareness kind of fall to the background. We're still perfectly aware of everything that's happening, but we're letting our primary attention be with the larger field of awareness rather than with anything that appears in it. And just let yourself stretch out into that large feeling of awareness, as though you were lying on your back relaxing in the sun. Or whatever kind of setting feels relaxing to you, as though you were just stretching out into the distance in this field of awareness. Really letting the objects fall further and further away. You may notice that the feeling that accompanies this stretching out into awareness may deepen and become more pleasant. It's okay if it doesn't, but there's generally a pleasure in this sense of letting ourselves expand. If any fear or hesitation or tension or tightening comes up, just notice that that is also just another thing that appears in awareness, and we're larger than that. So we don't need to oppose it. We just let it come and go like a cloud that crosses the sky. We're allowed to stretch out into our true nature and relax into it. And now I'd like you to notice if there appears to be a standpoint, some sort of central point from which you're observing or watching this awareness? And if so, to relax that, knowing that that too is contained in awareness. Just let that feeling of having a standpoint or vantage point fall away like all the other objects that appear in awareness. If we really relax into our true nature completely, there's no standpoint. The whole field of awareness is equally the standpoint. It has no circumference and it has no center. The whole thing is aware and conscious. See if you can sense that and let yourself relax into that. So there's no grasping or focal point or tight place. Everything in awareness is absolutely equal. So now from this standpoint, noticing again the breath. Is there really a clear distinction between awareness of breath and breath? Or is the whole thing made of awareness? Is there really an observer, a subject, and a separate object, the breath? Or do they really run straight into one another? Notice if there's an effortless quality to just staying with awareness. Do we really have to do anything to stay here? Just let any sense of burdens or concerns or preoccupations just drop away and dissolve. If you look closely at them from the standpoint of awareness, you'll see they have no real substance. You can't really find a clear line between awareness and the things that arise in it. Now just see if you can drop any doing, just being present to awareness without doing anything. All right, so let's begin now to move fingers and toes, open the eyes, take in the room. Know that what we see when we open our eyes is exactly the same as what was in that expanded space of meditation.